This is my friend Keith. He is going to propose to a girl very soon, and he has this amazing ring. So we figured he should have an amazing ring box. So we found some burl, big leaf maple burl, and he's just cutting up a blank here so we can put it on the lathe. This is his first time using a bandsaw, but as you can see, he's doing a really good job. Now the next thing we want to do is get it in between centers, and I make a tenon here to put it in the chuck to spin it faster. And I'm just giving Keith some pointers here because he's going to end up doing a good portion of the work. So we just plan out where the box top and the bottom are going to be on this blank, and then we just start roughing it out from there using a carbide rougher. So he just goes relatively slow here. Because this is burl, you just have to be very careful. There's no real grain pattern, so you can catch at any point on this. So he's just very careful throughout the process, and we keep an eye on the overall thickness here just to make sure we get the right size part that we want. Now I'm just measuring this with a set of calipers to make sure that it is even all the way across the box. And we'll mark out the top and bottom here so we know where to start making these divots to ultimately part the top away from the bottom here. Keith is now making some lines with a pencil on the top and bottom of the box to mark off where he wants to do some pyrography, which are just burnt lines in the top and the bottom of the box. He's going to make a small cut with a detailer just so the wire has something to ride inside of while it's producing friction. So right here, it's pretty thin wire, so it heats up very fast, but it leaves really cool designs on the outside of the box. It's just 18 gauge aluminum wire I picked up from the box store. Now we're just using a Forstner bit to hollow out the interior of what's going to be the top of the box here. And as you can see, Keith is going very slow. I had to speed this up to like 8 times normal speed. But this is his first time using a lathe, and we both figured the slower the safer. And at this point, we're just sanding while it's all together, using mineral oil to keep the friction down and to keep any dust out of the air. Don't forget to put a towel down on your rails, because if you have a lathe, you got to protect your rails. That's rule number 1 in any self-respecting wood shop here. So he goes from 120 to, I believe, 500 grit. And we touched up one of the lines because he went a little crazy with the sanding. And here I just use a fret saw as a parting tool, and we get the top of the box removed, and like butter. And as you can see, Keith is pretty happy with it and also very fascinated. So he gets pretty busy with some hand sanding here, and then we will go to start forming the inside of the bottom. Once we make sure that the lip is the correct size for the top to fit on there relatively snugly. And there we go. Might be a little too tight right here, but lesson learned. Now our idea for this was to shape out a sort of bump that the ring will fit around, like a nipple on the inside here. And I just use a finisher to kind of make the indentation. And had a bark inclusion pop out in here, so we just filled it with some CA glue and then cleaned it up again with the finisher. Now, if you notice the tool rest there, that is a Kutrite Manufacturing custom-made tool rest, and they're actually cheaper than anything I've price-wise than what I found online. So I'll leave a link down below if you're interested. They're all custom made to whatever kind of lathe that you have. And once we get this completely cleaned up with the finisher, we run the inside of the box through the grits and get it sanded up, and then we part it from the rest of the burl blank here. Then we throw the top and the bottom of the box into the chuck, and Keith runs them through all the grits again to get them very smooth and ready to be finished after cleaning up the top and the bottom with mineral spirits. And the box is almost finished here. I just add several layers of walnut oil. I use a really light colored walnut oil here, and I put layer after layer on until I have a really nice sheen, and then we buff that out afterwards. Now, walnut oil is culinarily safe, so it's food safe. Just make sure the person you're giving it to doesn't have a walnut allergy, if that is actually even exists. I have no idea, but I always ask just in case. And to top this off, what I do here is the inside of this box, on the top, we're going to add some flocking. So here I'm just putting the adhesive, the first layer of the adhesive inside the top of the box here. And I just use a really rigid bristled brush just to make sure I can put it on accurately without going all over the lip there. And in a very well ventilated area, using a respirator, I apply a ton of the flocking suede tacks. The more the better, because you can reuse everything that doesn't actually adhere. And when you're done with that, you end up with a finished ring box, and that looks glorious. So Keith and I are very happy with the work that we've done, and we hope his girlfriend, soon-to-be fiance, likes it very much. It's a one-of-a-kind heirloom quality gift that she's going to have the rest of her life. So hopefully we did good work here today. Now, if you like this video, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe down below. It really helps me out. As always, I appreciate you taking the time to hang out in my shop.